Hello, folks. Bill and Brian here with Energy Road. Hey, Brian, let's roll that logo. Folks, it's November 1st here, the first day of November. We hope you're not suffering from too much of a sugar overload from yesterday. If you are, just pop another one of those candy corns and you'll be just fine. So, Brian, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, first off, I think it's a good rule to just stay away from names like Michael or Jason on October 31st. So just
Yeah,
cross those off the list. I
yeah,
I
exactly.
I, I think it. And apologies to all
Freddie's
the.
another one too.
Oh, Freddie's another one. Apologies to all the Michaels, Freddies, Jasons of the world, and I'm sure there's many, many more. But listen, okay, so let's talk a little bit about uh, some of the news. Natural gas prices fall as weather forecasts turn warmer. These always crack me up because the headline the day before is natural gas prices rise because of colder forecasts. So natural gas is in the stage where we're going to oscillate up and down and all around, right, Bill?
That's right. We're just coming off the shoulder month. We haven't really seen winter hit hard yet. The weather right now is always across the country, up and down every year. It happens every year. That's why
Yep.
Farmer's Almanac can prove it. Our weather guys always are telling us that, hey, you know, we're uh, we're not going to be good at this on long term right now. So that's why you always see them going up and down. Remember, weather's the only place where you can be 50% wrong and still have a job the next day.
Yes. And also, welcome and thank you. Thanks for tuning in and be sure to ask questions along the way. We are going to cover those. We're going to cover those a little bit later in the session, but we're covering a little bit of news, then we'll cover crude, and then we'll dive into natural gas and kind of do a deep dive on where we are, where we might be headed. But two factors that are important. Weather is going to be important for these day-to-day, week-to-week moves,
Right.
but from a longer term perspective, we have to pull back out. And Europe's, here's a headline that just came out today. Europe's LNG build out collides with waning demand. And some have seen this in concerns about the industrial loads in Germany, as
Right.
well as some other European destinations. And this is where you have to take a look at a broader approach. And we are going to cover this as well as kind of give direction for 2024, where we might be headed a little bit later in the session. We're planning about 30 minutes, but we are going to take questions along the way. So, wait,
Yeah,
what,
I always try to remind people that Cheniere, which is one of the largest LNG export facilities that we have in the United States, was built as an import facility.
yep, yep.
So just remember the market changes and people will change with the market. It's just that when you're throwing $1 billion around, it takes a little bit more thought before you just flip it.
Yep. Yep. And billions and billions of dollars. So, also from another headline, natural gas rally challenges resistance is larger upside coming. And then, so these are the three natural gas headlines that I plucked out there. If you have some headlines you want us to cover, just reach out to us and let us know. But the fact is, weather is going to impact the short term. LNG is going to impact the long term, and technical analysis or some of the chart stuff is going to impact a lot of short term and longer term. We'll get into that towards the
Especially
end.
intraday pricing.
Yes. Last thing and we'll parlay this and talk a little bit about crude before we get back on natural gas. But the World Bank, was it the World Bank that
Yeah,
published
it's
this,
World
Bill?
Bank. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. World Bank published that oil could soar to record 150 if Israel Hamas war escalates further. So that's a headline to watch and monitor, because there is an interrelationship between crude oil and natural gas. We're not going to cover that today,
Right.
but if you're interested, please let us know in the comments things that you want to understand, because there is an intricate relationship between crude oil and natural gas. So,
Hey,
what do you?
Scott, how you doing, man?
Hey, Scott. Hey, thanks for showing up, man.
And I'm
Glad.
going to try this Al
Oh,
Habib. Okay. I hope that was somewhere close to the pronunciation. Man, we're glad you joined us today.
listen, thank you, and thanks for tuning in. And we are going to field questions, so feel free to ask questions. And there are never stupid questions, because there's oftentimes
That's right. All we do is give stupid answers. So
yeah,
no stupid
yeah.
questions.
Um, well, let's take a look at this. So the headline is oil could go to 150 bucks. Well, a lot of people forget we're at $80 or 83. We're going to dive into the charts in a little bit. Right at 81. So we're at 81, and that's pretty flat to 2023. Um, Before the Russia-Ukraine war, before Israel-Hamas, we were already advising our members that there is a brewing concern on the crude oil supply side of the equation, and that we are going to see higher prices. What's ironic here is that as much as we hopped up to 95, we came down to the low 80s, and it was based upon economy. So what we take a look at is we take a look at some of the fundamental supply and demand in the United States, and right now, crude oil is 13.2 million barrels a day, and we are importing over 6 million barrels a day. We're exporting 4.8 million barrels a day. But we're not going to cover crude oil today, but our stocks on the distillate side and the crude oil side are on very, very low status. That means if supply gets disrupted, there's a volatility to the upside. And we're not going to cover it today again, but there's
But we,
something unique about that 13.2 million
right.
barrels a day, isn't there?
Yes. So in the last couple months, EIA has changed how they calculated production.
Right.
We're not going to go into it today, but it has changed to where it is showing it is prejudice to the upside as to the where it used to be prejudice to the downside. And so when you take a look at how they calculate it, it's something you need to do. It's not the same way they were calculated at the first of the year.
Right.
So there's been a change. They're trying to be better at their accuracy. Sometimes when the government tries to clarify something, it makes it more confusing. So just know that something has changed in the last couple of months, and that number is not the same number you were looking at even 3 months ago. And so be sure and always look when the government changes how they calculate something. So if you're trying to make decisions based on that production number, that you'd look in to see how they come up with that production number. And
Yeah. And
it's the same thing for distillates and gasoline and jet
right.
fuel, because they've changed those numbers, their calculation on those numbers as well. So take a look into it. It's not user friendly, but as you dig into it, you'll begin to understand how when we bring these numbers up from the IA, sometimes we're suspect when we see the number.
That's right.
So
That's right. There's a
uh,
much deeper conversation there, and
and
again,
we
if
may
there
take
is,
a day and discuss it, but for sure, um, uh, you can. We'll be discussing it with our subscribers at a later date for sure.
yep, yep, and on crude oil, let's go ahead and just take a look at the chart. Nope, that's natural gas. Let's take a look at this. As
So
you
that
can
was
see, we hit 95 and we came down to this 81.50. We're kind of testing this from a technical analysis side of things. This is something that our members have been very aware of. We communicate with our members on a weekly basis. give them kind of an outline for the week. Plus, we talk with them during the week on Discord. So we have an active community because if you sign up for Rogue Edge, it is $89 a month. There's information down below, and we have a subscription-based membership that you get access to institutional level analysis for $89 a month. In addition to that, you get reports, daily emails, access to Discord, which is 24/7, and over I don't even know how many different charts, but you can understand and
we have a whole library of charts that
yes.
is extensive by any stretch of the imagination. And
And
in fact, is earlier this week we talked on a Discord channel. We talked to our members talking about how crude oil right now is the deer in headlights commodity because it doesn't know which way to go.
right.
So click below, sign up. Brian, you want to talk about nat gas?
Yes, so natural gas is at 350, which supports increasing outflows.
Well, that's good.
No, that's bad because that leads
That's
to
bad?
rising. Yeah, it is because it leads to rising prices.
Oh man, that is bad.
No, that's good.
That's good?
Yeah, because that means we're going to have better economics to drill.
Oh, that is good.
No, that's bad.
That's bad?
It means the cost of drilling is going to go up.
Oh yeah, that is bad.
No, that's actually good.
That's good?
It expands jobs in the energy industry.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
No, that's bad, Bill.
That's bad?
Yes, because we can't find the right people to fill those jobs.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
No, that's good.
That's good?
Yeah, that's good because that means we only drill the best prospects.
Oh yeah, that's good.
No, that's bad.
That's bad?
That means that the price goes up.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
No, that's good.
That's good?
That's good because that means you need analysts and consultants like us to help track all this stuff and provide services like Rogue
Oh
Edge for
yeah.
you.
That's very good.
So listen, thanks for being patient on our little bit. We wanted to do that little bit and describe a little bit about the complexity of when you get into these headlines. You are going to see there. The Wall Street Journal had an opposite headline yesterday, and it's all based upon weather, which we do track and we keep tabs on this on a day-to-day basis. The 6 to 10. This was all orange yesterday, the 6 to 10, and now we have cold creeping back into the equation.
So I
And
want to
so
point out something people don't realize. Okay, I had to ask Prestige Weather this question, and they,
mm,
they always say, "Well, Bill, that's not what you think it is." And I says, "Well, okay, what do you mean?" I said, when you say this is normal, above normal, how do you determine normal? And so he told us NOAA, which is the National Atmospheric and Oceanic uh, Organization or Administration. I can't
close
remember.
enough. National
Anyway,
Oceanographic.
what they
Wow, say
do,
that fast.
yeah, exactly. I can't even say it slow.
Mm.
What they do is that they take the data from 1981 to 2010. They average that data, and that average is what they consider normal. So when you see this above normal, below number, that's based on the weather we had from 1981 to 2010.
And weather patterns have changed significantly since 2010.
So
So it's a lot more nuanced than what,
yes,
and it's part of the reason. It's part of the reason that our service that we've engaged and partnered with Prestige Weather because we provide that insight to our members, and we're working on products to deliver uh, intricate weather design, but from a day-to-day basis. You can see yesterday we went way up, and today we've come way down, but we still climb back up. And this is going to change day to day and week to week. But what I'm going to say is that we have a lot on the weather side of the equation that is going to change that pushes it day to day. All right. So you're going
right.
to see different headlines like this. Don't get don't look at this headline and put it to sleep and go away for a week. That's part of the reason that we designed our service to provide 24/7 access so that
Yeah.
our community can answer questions. But LNG is going to be a big part of the equation going forward.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's where we can take a look at what, let's see, let's take a look. We're in
So,
2023, right?
right.
So,
That's pretty serious growth right there.
yeah, this is only the United States LNG facilities. But right now, we are just shy of 14 BCF a day of export capacity. There's some enhancements and some operational efficiencies that they can overshoot that. But let's offer a frame of reference on natural gas supply and demand. In our total demand of roughly 100 BCF a day, you have LNG exports is 13.7 or 14. It's roughly 14% of the U.S. Of the U.S. demand profile. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit less in winter because we have a higher demand profile, but hang on to that number, 14%. Now we're going to go up in 2024 in the next 8 months. In the next 8 months, we're going to bump this up to close to 15, and then we're going to bump up close to over 16 BCF a day. So we're going to increase another 2.5 BCF a day. And then in 2025, we're going to stair step up over 20. So in the next 18 months, we're going to increase over 6 BCF. That is only in the United States, but let me show you something. In, where is it? This one. That's only the United States. You have to think about LNG Canada. You have to think about these other export facilities in Mexico.
Right.
These are going to impact the supply demand profile in the United States. And we cover this every week with our members. We hope you'd come, join, sign up, and we are here to kind of dissect this, because when Bill and I take a look at what LNG exports are, think about it this way: 20% of our supply portfolio is already committed to exports. And we are also importing 5% from Canada. Well, with a Canadian, where is it? LNG Canada, we're not going to be importing that much anymore.
That's right. That thing fires up in 2025, I think. And it's a 2 BCF plant.
Yep.
And so what that means is that that gas has got to come from somewhere.
Right.
You're not seeing a lot of drilling in Canada. So what you're going to see is you're going to see that 2 BCF that's being at 2 BCF of the 5 BCF that's being imported from Canada will go away. Now, folks, the reason this is important is because anytime you change the supply in natural gas by a single BCF, the price jumps one way or the other.
Right. Yep.
Now we're talking about in the next 18 months, we're going to see almost 5 BCF change in that.
And this also assumes that we're going to keep the same profile of our export capacity to Mexico
Right.
at a 6.4. Well, guess what? If Mexico has these LNG export facilities, they're going to want even more supply.
Right.
So the fact of the matter is that you got to look at the U.S. You got to look at internationally. These are where our existing and the potential ones, LNG Canada, wood fiber. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, let us know in the comments. I don't know how to pronounce that. But then you have projects that are under development, like Corpus Christi expansion, Plaquemines is coming up, and Port Arthur, Golden Pass. These are coming down in the next 18 months.
So
And that is going to change our demand profile.
So what we're saying is we see a giant squeeze coming, but you're going to have to sign up so you can talk to us, and we'll tell you where we think that's going to happen, who's going to be able to meet those demands, and how we're going to meet those demands, And there's just a lot of, and it's just our way of saying, if you think that natural gas is not a global product that we're putting into the United States, I try to remind people here where I live in Oklahoma, these small producers, it says you compete with the world. And so you need to pay attention to what's going on in the world.
Yep. And this is where, let's take a look at it, natural gas, and we'll look at the financial. And that is part of the reason that we have this chart that we track daily that tracks Henry Hub to JKM and TTF. So for instance, last summer when Henry Hub was $9, TTF and JKM were up over 80. So these will have a stronger relationship when we increase our LNG exports from 13 to 14 to over 20 BCF a day, with more coming. And now our Mexico exports and our Canadian imports those profiles are going to be changing as well. But this is a map of LNG project startups. Anything that you see that is in brown came on in 2022. Blue is 2026. Yellow is 2024. And green is 2025. And Golden Pass is ahead of schedule. They're going to be coming on a little bit earlier than 25, 26. But take a look at this chart. This is from Rystad Energy. So they do a lot of work on the upstream side of this equation on reserves. But if you take a look at what year are we in, Bill? 2023?
2023 for just a
Okay.
little short time, Brian.
Okay. So currently the supply demand, if you can take a look at let me see if I can zoom in here. Is there a way to zoom in? Yeah, here we go. I'm going to zoom into this. So in 2023, this purple line is where the supply capacity is, and the bar is the demand capacity. And what you can see is in 2024 and 2025, we are starting to have an outstripping of supply and demand. So the fact is that China is going to be growing. There's Asian, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Thailand, India. These are going to be the big growth drivers over the next few years on LNG. So,
So, folks, that's just to tell you that this is not a one answer question.
yep.
That's the problem with most energy discussions. Everybody wants the one thing that solves their energy problem or solves this or solves that. This is a multiplicity of things that come together, and that's how they form together to be able to provide a great, at least view, maybe somewhat nuanced, of the energy market. That's what Brian and I try to do every day. We're always looking at this every day. And that's why when you sign up for Rogue Edge for $89 a month, not only is that a good deal, but that means that you have a chance to ask us questions. You know, we've got decades of experience on this, both on the technical side and on the fundamental side. And we look at it every day. And if you just have a question, you can ask us, and we'll be more than happy to sort of walk through your thought process with you.
Yep. And that's part of the reason. So Bill and I are actually have spent a long time in the energy industry, and we get frustrated having to spend thousands of dollars a month to have access to information. And it was either a choice: have thousands of dollars a month or spend 30 hours a week, or just don't pay attention and listen to other people spout off what they're thinking. We provide a platform that gives you all the tools and everything so that you can be well equipped on what the supply profile looks like, what the demand profile looks like, what rigs look like in production. And we packaged it into a system that provides interactive interactive, downloadable charts so that you can understand potential trends in the market. And that's what's unique is we added a community feature as well as kind of our guided look into what's going to happen during the week. For example, natural gas. We called for a move back up to 344.9, and where are we right now? Yeah, we're right at 350, which is the title of this, which
That's
is
right.
exactly what we try and target. We're not going to be right all the time like any analyst, but that's part of the reason that our community, we help each other. And
So, and Brian are always looking for correlations that other people have missed, things that are causing things to go one way or the other. And so we're always looking for correlations with this thought in mind. Correlation does not mean causation.
right.
So just because things are correlated doesn't mean that's what caused it.
Yep.
And years ago, I pointed this out to Brian when we were watching natural gas, and I says, "Hey, Brian, take a look. Natural gas and Sonic drive-in stock were tracking, and they were perfectly correlated for almost 2 years. Now, neither one of them had anything to do with one another, but that correlation lasted for 2 years. So we're always looking for things that are correlated that maybe we haven't thought of. So that's why we're constantly researching. We're constantly challenging even our own beliefs and saying, okay, why do I believe that? What could make this price go up? What can make this price go down? And why do I think that? So that's what we provide. So,
Yep.
Brian, I think we're probably pretty much done here today. Is there anything you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to say you reached out and said that, but Al Habib, thank you for showing up, and thanks for the happy November. Scott,
And I
great
think he
seeing
said
you.
it better than I did, Halabine.
Yes. And Scott, thanks so much. Really appreciate your support and you being here and your membership. So appreciate that. CLF, I like your name because that gets to the futures contracts and the predictions. Let's see, Scott, the predictions for natural gas price at the end of the year. Okay. So what my prediction is, let's take a look at where bar chart, futures, energies.
Scott, he's looking it up so he doesn't want to be wrong, but I already know where he's going.
No, it's 410. I mean, 410 is my projection, but currently we've got the January contract at 376.
Right. So it'd be the February contract at the end of December.
Okay, so the February contract is currently 369.9. And Carolia, oh, hey, great to see you. I love the name. So thanks for showing up. But Scott, my prediction for the end of the year, December 31st, is $4.10. And
mine, Scott, is $3.99.
Yep.
And come on to our Discord channel, and we'll tell you why we think we're there.
Yeah. And listen, folks, thanks so much. Really appreciate you showing up and really appreciate your support. If you found anything useful here, if you could if you could comment, if you could share, that stuff really helps. We're trying to
subscribe on YouTube.
And subscribe on YouTube. That way you'll get notified of things. So listen, if you appreciated anything about today, if you could like it, subscribe and share it. And
all that
comment,
stuff, whatever that is. Yeah.
All that stuff. You know, so and lastly, if you want to get serious about understanding the energy markets, come sign up for our service. It's $89 a month, and we're here to support your success, whatever that means. So that's all I got for today. Unless last chance, anybody got any questions? Marique, thanks so much. Thanks for showing up. All right. So if there's any last second, 5, 4, 3,
17, 32, 1.
1. Okay, great. Listen, folks, thanks so much. Really appreciate you and hope you have a great week. We will be back next Wednesday at noon Central. So,
all
Bill,
right.
You want to say any parting words?
Well, yeah, of course. The last 3 words. Roll the logo.
Plus, if you sign up, you can get some swag.